Hey guys, still at the Mount Gibraltar Reserve, Mittagong, and I've come uphill. The earlier video was down in the Elata, Piperita, Eucalyptus viminalis country. I've just walked up the hill, not very far, but it's a good workout. And I'm on this sort of upper, more shallower sandstone country. Now, do forgive me. The Hawkesbury sandstone does extend down into here, and I think I'm still on it, but I'm not completely sure. It might not be Hawkesbury sandstone. It might be more, I think what they call Burragarang sandstone, possibly, or Mittagong. It's not Mittagong sandstone, I don't think, but maybe Burragarang. But the Hawkesbury sandstone does come down this part of the world, and it's possible that's what I'm still on here. But, you know, it's to me, this is really easy vegetation to get familiar with. Even if you're just starting out, it's really easy. We've got a dominance of Eucalyptus sieberi, silver top ash, and Eucalyptus agglomerata, blue leaf stringy bark. And I'm collecting both for a workshop tomorrow. You can almost do, and I'm not suggesting you do, you can almost do a drive-by veg survey or a drive-by rapid for a lot of these plots. They're very easy to tell your trees. So sieberi, you're starting to get what looks a little bit like an ironbark. A little bit like an ironbark. This sort of furrowed bark here. And when you go up to the canopy, I haven't got the best sunlight for this at the moment. You've got bare branches up the top. You've got these bare branches and these bluey green leaves. And it's sort of the habitat that gives it away. Bare branches up the top. And we're on the high ground. And don't forget, I can't get it right now, but the leaves glisten in the sunlight. They've just got a nice glossy reflection in the sunlight. And that's the name for silver top ash. Just earlier, I did have to liberate a branch, and I had to collect some fruiting material just for the workshop. I just target trees on track edges. I don't go deep into the bush. If you want to collect some good specimens, you know, most of the time street trees are better targets, or plants that, you know, remnant trees that just grow on the edges of bushland. You know, I'm not going to go bashing down that gully to get material. I'm just going to target the odd branch on the edge of the track, and I got a beautiful one just here. And that is Eucalyptus sieberi with these beautiful, genuine capsules, which are really easy to identify in this particular environment. Just going to sit my bottom down on this rock here. They've got a nice red disc at the top, reminiscent of sort of Eucalyptus hemistoma a little bit, the scribbly gums. They've got a really thick disc, or what might be called a staminal ring. It's often red in colour. And the fruits aren't really sort of rounded like scribbly gum. They're more conical, or what we might call piriform. To me, they're really easy to identify, and they often litter the ground in large numbers. I like that. They're like Eucalyptus piperita. They'll put a lot of fruit on the ground, and you can normally find a lot of them as you walk through this sort of what you'd call upper, you know, sort of ridge, upper slope. I'd call it a woodland, like a dry sclerophyll woodland. Maybe just hitting a forest, but I'd call it a woodland. Definitely forest down below. And that is, that's really typical. A long peduncle there, maybe 10 millimeters. It's hard to really discern a peduncle on the fruit. It's like a tapering of the capsule down into where the petiole would be. Not petiole. Let me get my terms right. Pedicel, where the pedicel would be. Pedicel and peduncle. Remember, the peduncle holds the whole structure, and the pedicel holds the individual fruit, and it's really lacking a pedicel there. look out for those. I don't have buds at the moment. The leaves have this really prominent venation, and they're thick, and they're sort of bluey green. They've got a good hint of blue in them. They might be more on the green side, but they've got a hint of bluey green. And that's really good for Eucalyptus sieberi. You can have red stems a lot of the time. Red stems on the edges here, the branchlets. Really easy to identify. So I've just got a bag of that. Not a whole bag, there's other species in there. But just some nice generous specimens for the workshop. The next one I want to show from here is Eucalyptus agglomerata. That's a blue leaf stringy bark, and it will happily grow side by side with sieberi. And in a lot of these parts, Southern Highlands, Mittagong, Bargo, places like Yarranbull and Colo Vale, you can get this country up on the high ground, and you'll get it in places like Canyon Lee as well on the Tuggalong Road. You could get Eucalyptus punctata intermingled with it. Eucalyptus punctata will be the third dominant tree in this sort of habitat. In terms of PCTs, you're looking at sort of 3625 and I think from memory 3668 or something like that. The bloody PCT work I've been doing, but that's a typical. On the high ground, as you go down slope there, more enriched sandy soil, you'll get Piperita kicking in, and Alata and Viminalis, and maybe even things like Cypelicarpa on the ground, on the lower country, taller trees. But up here, it's a real easy veg to get in and survey. A lot of Acacia terminalis, a lot of Gaudium trinervium. You get a ton of Pesunia linearis and flannel flowers on really shallow sandstone. So just look out for that. It's got a real dominance here, sieberi, and in the Southern Highlands are some of the tallest sieberi I've ever seen. On the more enriched country, you can get sieberis getting up to 30 metres. They can be quite big in some places. They do creep onto the shale and the, the shale and even the volcanic soil in some places. Not often, but they can be on that sort of enriched, maybe volcanic enriched sandy soil in some parts of the Southern Highlands. East Kangaloon, Avoca, those localities. So that's your bark again. It's a nice grey, sort of a gun barrel grey. It does resemble ironbark sometimes, but it's not really an ironbark, but it's starting to resemble an ironbark. And then you got bare branches up the top. Just remember that, just here. Sometimes trees have got a real mixture of brown tones in them, reddy brown. They've got these reddy brown tones and bare branches up the top. And sieberi is just a tree I can tell with my eyes half closed, and a lot of eucalypts, even amateurs and people will be able to tell it as well. Experts, they can just tell it really quickly. It's a nice, easy one to identify once you remember what it is. Alrighty, I didn't get any buds. Maybe I can add those in a later video. Just ramming home the point now, but I've come further up the hill. And that's just a whole dominance of Eucalyptus sieberi at the top. Just check out the bark on this one. It's a beautiful bark. Trying to be an ironbark, but it just can't quite get there. So we just call that, really broadly fibrous. Real dominant. And now I'll try and show the blue leaf stringy bark. Just a bit of value adding, folks. I found a sieberi in flower. Gorgeous. Now if I have a look, Yeah, the buds are in more than 7s, so it might be in the 7 to 15 group. We've got bugs all over the flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, most of the time they're in above 7. They're getting probably, so they're probably one of those described in the 7 to 15 stage. That one's got 9, 10, 11 flowers there. But that's sieberi in flower. You can see, have a good look. Oh, it's a bit, I'm going to slip down the rock face here, but there's the fruit again. But we've got some earlier growth, which is the flowers. Sorry, later growth, which has the flowers on it. So beautiful specimen. Be good to get the flower buds. I find, you know, they're a lot more useful than the flowers. But at least we've got a nice flowering specimen. Just remember, if you're confused when you look at the flowers, just go, you know, I've gone down the branch and there's the fruit. And they're a bit on the older side, but that's typical sieberi fruit. So just make sure you check, you know, everywhere on the tree. Alrighty.